Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for an EU webcam event that happened this past weekend. It was with the BT20 format and the ban list that went with it. And real quick before we get started, I wanted to just give a huge shout outs to Scrub Games for putting up all of these lists personally and making a whole breakdown video. Make sure to go to their channel, hit that like and subscribe button for them. I really appreciate all the hard work. They put all of the list here. Normally I have to put these all manually, and I really do appreciate them doing it for this one. So just big appreciation from me. Gotta like and subscribe for me, of course, and hope from you guys as well. So there also is a tournament footage as well, which is linked in the description, as well as this website here. So if you guys want that, and as well as just all the deck lists are here on my website. So anyways, going on into this top 16 breakdown, we do have 5 Shenrons, 3 Ultimate Form Golden Friezas, which one of them taking the event, 2 Supreme Kai of Time, 2 SS4 Goku and Vegetas, 1 Self-Control Aandroidd 21, which is not the new one, it is the Star Deck one, a Cumber, a Gamma, and a Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta Fusion Perfected. So a little bit of an interesting kind of top cut. I do agree that since Shenron did get 2 important cards that really make the deck kind of go off, Golden Frieza did get a couple cards as well, and just kind of a couple things here. So one big thing is that Blue's not really in this top 16 as much as I'd want to. And again, Aandroidd 21, which I think a lot of people thought was the strongest deck out of the new set. It did get kind of a top, and Cumber did as well, but nothing too crazy from any of these new leaders. A lot of it just being, again, BT 18 with these 2 red decks they're just still very strong at what they do. So we're going to go over the top placing list for each one of these leaders right now. We're going to go over the first place list. So this is Tarpini's, which, if you guys don't remember, this is our world champion from this previous year. So continuing their undefeated streak on this one here. And Golden Frieza is I don't know. I really kind of fell back in love with this card, especially since it was used in the simulator and everything else, and it did get a couple of tops in our Worlds event as well. So just honestly a really solid leader, especially in something where it's kind of easier to play a 1 or 2 drop and let them stick, which is important for your leader effect to get your cycle and your untap. Because I've had a lot of people joke with me too, what's the best blue deck right now? It's Frieza, because it gets the untap and everything. So really funny that just kind of a quirky leader from set 1 is still able to win events here 5, almost 6 years later, which is pretty crazy. But you do get a couple pieces of new tech in this one specifically. First is the Shenron Cold Heart Shadow Dragon. So it's Deflect, Unique, Barrier, Blocker. So Deflect Barrier means you probably think this is pretty good. Draw 1 card and play this on a counterplay. If you have a total of 7 more cards in your energies, the energy battle area and draw produce. So which is trivially easy to do, especially by turn 2 or 3. If your leader is yellow, when your opponent plays battle card, you may choose that card, negate its skill's return. If you do, switch this card to active mode and negate that skill for the turn. So it's kind of you play it, and then if they play another card, you get that. And just the fact this is a barrier blocker that you can block with again. This is just a really silly card. It has a lot of strength for, and again, worst case, it's a 5k. It's a really good kind of card for yellow there. You also do have a new Floodgate SS Vegeta as well, which we do know is pretty great in a lot of this. We have to have a yellow Z battle card, our Z leader, which we don't have a Z leader for this guy yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he does get one eventually, because he's such a fan favorite, but obviously not like he super needs it. But being able to get that additional Floodgate there. Obviously, Mecha Frieza is our best Floodgate, because we also get to recycle it next turn, which is great. And just Cold Bloodless, we can run at 1, the power of a Super Saiyan. And we do also get this really great new Z battle card. So Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Terrifying Agent of Destruction. Dual attack, and when this card is played, choose up 20 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier and KO it, and if it was in rest mode, you get critical for this turn. So this is just a really silly, powerful card that yellow really got. I would say besides Oolong, yellow didn't really have a lot of good yellow Z battle cards, but this is just very good, just the best one by a lot. Because looking at Goku, this is fine for what he does, he's good for kind of a Floodgate, but man, this Vegeta is super strong at what he does. So other than that, this deck's just really good at cycling, being able to get some card draw and getting a lot of card advantage while building a wide board. We do have to be worried about Secret Identity Masked Saiyan, which is in this format again, which can do kind of a wide board clear, which we haven't really seen as generic as we've seen before. And that's really all I have to say about this one. So congrats to Philip for their finish there. Next up, we go into our second place. So this is Ivan's Aandroidd 21, and I would say this is not something I would say I'm 100% an expert on how this deck will be working, but here are a couple facts about it. So this is the Star deck one. When this card attacks, you get to draw one. Also, Awaken is when you have a blue-green multicolor in your life, in your energy in your life at 6 or less, so you can untap, draw one. So being able to Awaken at 6 consistently is really nice because you're always going to be charging a blue-green pretty early, I would say. And you do get like a free energy exhaust with this as long as you have 5 or more life, which is pretty easy for this deck at the beginning. Then we also have you can't play battle cards original energy cost of 6, which isn't too hard to do. And auto, when a card in your energy is placed in your drop area by one of your skills, draw one, then choose up to one blue-green multicolored card in your drop, add to your energy in rest mode. At the start of your opponent's next turn, choose up to one and untap. So if you're able to cycle through your energy, you're able to get that there, which is nice. We have the Zamasu, which is an interesting kind of ad for this one too. But when a card in your energy is placed in your drop area, you get to draw one. So being able to get that additional draw and cycle there. I don't think you get the rest of this too. You just get to, it's just a 3 unison that you get to do the effects for there. Aandroidd 21, trading places, place one of your energy into its drop. You turn one multicolor card energy. And when this card is using combo, add one card from your hand in your Espira. So like being able to cycle there is kind of nice, and place up to one of your energy in its owner's drop. So yeah, it's just an interesting card there for that. And then Master Roshi, choose one multicolored card in your energy, return to his owner's hand. When you combo this card, choose one card in your hand and place it in your energy rest mode. So this does also this gets cycle, but it doesn't get you like the energy in the drop, which is impactful. But also this leader is able to use the Aandroidd 21 as well. So increase this permanent is pretty much so it can be used in this deck, which is really funny. But being able to heal 2 is pretty great, and having a board clear is fantastic for something like this. I think that's all I really and then Aandroidd 21, Name of Hunger. This being able to just have a ramp card in this deck is great because you want to ramp up to your Super 17 ultimate weapon. So for 5, 8. So play this from your energy, play up to 3, and it costs 5 or less, which can include the Aandroidd 21 here. Yeah. This one. So Bad Omen, being able to do burn damage and kind of end the game. So it looks like it's just kind of like a slower kind of control deck, being able to get to your end game condition of just doing a bunch of damage for you. And let's see, just being able to get some cycle. This being able to get some draw off the interaction with this, I think, is strong. And just in general, it looks like a really interesting deck. I'd have to see it in play. But that's all I gotta say for that one. So congrats to Ivan. Hopefully I did an okay job going over your deck, and again, congratulations on your second place here. Next up, we have Cumber, and honestly, like I haven't done a lot into Cumber, honestly, either. This is both the second, third place. I would definitely lose to in this tournament too, because I'd have to be like, wait, what are you doing? What's this? But this is obviously a really interesting leader. I think a lot of people are kind of hyped into it. Just the fact that it's kind of like the first leader for Cumber as well. It's kind of a weird mechanic too with how this deck works. Being able to use your Prison Planet of Mono with cost of 1 have their combo reduced by 1, which means you just get combos in this deck that you wouldn't otherwise. When using your Food's Overlord skills to choose a servant card, you can also choose your opponent's battle cards, which is interesting. And that's kind of, it looks like it has like a little bit of the Gogeta package, since you just need a is a Black Saiyan card, which we are for this one, which is really nice. When this card attacks, you draw 1, choose up to one of your opponent's, choose one card in your own one card you own in your opponent's battle area, gain servant until the end of your opponent's next turn. So all that's really interesting. Just being able to give servant and then being able to use your overlord effects with those is pretty much how this deck kind of works. We also do have like the Super Saiyan Cumber Booster Barrage. If your leader is a Black Saiyan card, when this card's played, draw 1, and then choose any number of your opponent's battle cards and they gain servant until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then choose one that gains double strike, dual attack, or this gains triple strike for the turn. And for 2 black, if you have 4 or more energy, your opponent has 2 or more battle cards in play, you get to play this from your hand. So being able to play this for pretty cheap is pretty nice for what it is. Fu with Overlord, if you have a 2 or more energy and 2, you get to play this from your hand for drawing 1. So like a free cycle there for playing it is nice, which also has the Overlord. This secret rare is fantastic, especially since it's kind of searchable by just being in your warp. And I think that's all I kind of want to say. A little bit of a broad overview of how the deck works. I'd have to, again, I don't have a lot of experience with this one personally, but I saw a lot of people try it out and write it off as not like a really strong deck. So It's really cool to see that that is incorrect, and that it is very powerful in this, at least this setup, in kind of like the earlier game. And I'm curious to see if it continues to be relevant in the BT20 meta. So congrats again there to Michał for their finish there. And then in fourth place we do have Sin Shenron, and Sin Shenron dropped off pretty quickly after it did get the ban of the Haze Shenron in this deck. The critical that you gained with a double strike or a triple strike is pretty powerful, but it's kind of been fixed in the sense that it got two pretty good cards in the last little bit to help you out. One is the Sin Shenron negative energy, which is pretty solid, being able to be a blocker, being able to take cards from your own life, which is sometimes needed in this deck, because you sometimes, like, the fact that you're able to get card draw without having to take cards from your own life is very strong in a deck like this too. So that's strong for you. But also, I would say like the best card for this deck is this Gohan. I've already I feel like I've been on the campaigns trail. Like this card is very strong and powerful for no good reason. It has just everything. It's a good offense card. It's a good defense card. It's a 5k combo. Like this is never a dead card. It is never the worst card in your deck in any situation. The fact that it costs essentially 1 on both turns in this deck is great. The fact that it's a blocker, the fact that you give something minus 20k on play, like all of this card is good. Everything's overstated in my mind. It has blocker. It has double strike as well for some reason. So like Champa's gone, but for 1 you can play a 20k double striker that also can like pop a blocker without barrier on play. Like that is very, very silly in me. So like it's just the fact that it's very easy to either one, you just have to have the 6 balls in there, or you really only need 3 balls. You can play this on turn 1 if you want. Because you're able to Z energy and cost of your leader area and battle area, or you can send all these and then you have your Z leader and it reduces it by 7 because that's the Z energy cost for this card. So very, very strong. I think this is probably one of the best decks in the format right now. And there's also the add of this Broly Surging Attack. When this card is played, you get to play this for 1. It has Critical Servant. Critical is pretty good. And when this card is played, you can't play copies of this card for turn. Choose one. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 15k power or less and KO it, or choose up to one of your non-Overlord leaders, and that card gains Overlord. So once per turn. So which is pretty nice. So you can either this is a 25k crit you get to play for 1. You give your leader Overlord if there's nothing to pop, and then if you do that, you can attack with this, and then you get to draw a card and stack with that. I like that in this deck too. That's pretty strong as well. So also deciding to go on the Unison package, which is not always needed for this, especially since Broly Crown can't be played off it, but I understand it. And yeah, I think again, like this deck is very strong. I think Red got a bunch of good promos for what you have. Like honestly, the fact that it can run all 3 of these. I guess this is a little bit of an older promo, but yeah, those are all 3 really good promos for this deck, and this deck's not going away again until they do any fixes. So anyways, congrats again for Mirko for their finish there. Next up we have Gamma. So this is Manuel's 7th place list, and honestly, like Gamma is just always going to be kind of good in this game. Like it's just very solid. The fact that it does have an untapped 3, the fact that they're always going to print a couple more androids for us to be a little bit better with it. Defending Friends is a very, very good floodgate and strong card for no good reason. For blue, it's very free for you to be able to play this for 1. So being able to have 8 floodgates in this deck is very strong for what we're doing. And even like if your opponent like doesn't want you to has like their counterplay for it, you're still almost always going to be on the energy advantage because you get your 3 energy every turn, and everything else, like going 1 for 1 energy wise for an Android 17 in their card still means you're kind of net energy, which is really good for it. But anything else, like this is pretty much a BT 19 deck in a lot of ways. Nothing really got hit from it in a lot of ways. The only thing that I could say is that like Sun Gohan is the secret rare, but you could definitely run the new Android 21 if you want. If you want to be more defensive, and especially if you want to get to your Turning the Tide plays, doing that is a little bit easier with the Android 21 secret rare, especially because you can get the heal. And sometimes this deck does get some issues with the barrier. Also, is it searchable? Yeah, you just choose one of your blue Android cards among them to your energy and rest mode. So like the fact that this deck can look at let me make sure before I'm caught exposed. But this is an Android card, right? Yeah, it's an Android Scientist. So like this can look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 blue Android to your energy and rest mode and place it. So the fact like you can just like keep cycling your deck to find androids and then put it in your energy, and at the end of your turn you put it back in your hand is really, really strong. That's a really great effect to add to this deck. So I think Gamma, if you haven't already, I think they should definitely think about adding the Android 21 as their secret rare because it's strong there. You don't get the aggressive end game pressure as like Sun Gohan, but board clear and healing is pretty good in a deck like this. So that's the only ad for this, but I would say like that's kind of hard. It's an expensive card. It just came out, so, and I also think there's nothing wrong with Sun Gohan, and I just kind of wanted to mention that this deck can definitely take advantage of the typing and everything else that you do get from Android 21. So anyways, that is there. Congrats again to Manuel for their finish there. And then next up we have Kenny on the Supreme Kai of Time. This was a deck that did get some support, obviously, in the kind of dash pack promos we got. So the Trunks and the Sun Goten specifically are the two. We also do have like the Pans Search for Another World, which is nice. So what you do get the Bond 3, choose one with cards with Xeno in their name, choose one of your opponent's bad cards, and send Jerome's Warp, which is quite nice. So you just need honestly 2 cards for that. But being able to send cards to a warp is good. And then like that just means like this card is like infinitely more searchable. Like you can almost consistently find this guy as long as he's like in your deck or something. This Super Saiyan Son Goku Xeno Reflexive Strike. This is a really This card is also like infinitely flexible. Like they printed this card saying we want people to play Black Supreme Kai of Time again, and they pretty much are. People are playing this deck again because this helps fix a lot of spots you're in. These two guys are a little bit overstated for what the Overwhelm is, so dual attack or a double strike, and then also the this Mass Saiyan is great too, making them choose two opponent's cards, gets rhythm until the end of their next turn. This gains critical, so 20k crit for 1 is pretty good. And that's all this stuff. All this stuff is like statted very well for how much energy you have to put on into it. So I think this deck is still great. It's a little cheesy for what it needs to do, but it's very, very strong there. So congrats again to Kenny on their finish there. And then next up we have Super Saiyan for Goku and Vegeta. I don't have a lot to say about this deck because it's been pretty much the same for a long time. It's not even using any new cards. Like the newest cards, I mean, technically is the Secret Identity because you can run it again. But everything else is still just BT. It's BT 18, right? There's nothing from BT 19 in this deck, right? Not that you need to. Like this deck is just solid for what it is. It just gets a lot of cycle. I always feel like I play against this deck and they always have 4 of their super combos in the hand because they get so much cycle, so much consistency for what they're doing, and it's fairly obnoxious. It's a really obnoxious deck. I don't have honestly a lot to say because I've been talking about this deck for 6 months and it's pretty much the same stack of cards most of the time. The little tech cards are like the Black Smoke Dragon, the Secret Identity. Topo's not always a card that's run, but it's usually run there, and I think that's really it. That's really it I have to say about this. No, nothing against the player. Congrats again to Bruno. I just don't have much to say about a deck like this since it's been, again, it's pretty much the same list for a very long time. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So, and then lastly, we do have Giovanni with their 13th place list for Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. And this is obviously the cheese strategy. So if you guys real quick don't remember how this works, we do have the Super Saiyan Gogeta facing fierce foes. So this card can't be KO'd. Auto once returned if your leader is a red Gogeta and you discard 1 card from your hand. Look, when this card is played, look top 7 cards at a Gogeta BR. And you cost 5 or 6 and then shuffle, which I don't think is actually in this deck. No, we got a cost of 8, but not. But 1, if your leader is a red Gogeta BR, play up to 1 Gogeta BR with any cost of 8 from your hand. On top of this, with his in active mode with his non-keyword skills negate until the end of opponent's turn, which means you get to go into this guy for free. Non-keyword skills are gone, so it doesn't have that. But then activating, you choose one of your mono red Saiyans with any original cost of 35k in your battle place with owner's drop. So the idea for this deck is that you play this for 2, and then you can awaken. When you awaken, you untap 1, draw 1 with 4, which this also self-awakens, and then you can use the effect for 1 to go into this Broly, which is essentially very, very hard to remove. It's a 40k, gives everything minus 5k. Leaders, battle cards, and then just cards combo as well. So everything has minus 5k combos. So and you just have a big 40k double strike barrier that, and then everything you do is just like you can't combo anymore, which is great, and just everything that kind of goes with that as well. So that's pretty much the cheese. You go into this, you do have like some other ways to do some pressure and stuff if you don't see it. Honestly, this is still like a really good card for what it is. You just have to have a Gogeta BR, and you can play this for 4. Dual attack triple strike is pretty good. It doesn't have protection, but like it can pressure your opponent a lot. And also this this is a good Union Fusion to draw one and then go from there. And then you can also, this is kind of like an alternate way. If you have 4 more energy, you can kind of go into it and do your thing too. But it's just I'd say this is a bit of a cheese deck. You just go into your secret rare early, and it's very good for controlling the game. But it works. Obviously, it works enough for you to get a top 16 finish there. So that is it. Congrats to Giovanni for their finish there. And that is the breakdown. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Make sure to check out Eggman events for all of your deck lists and everything else you need for the meta here. I do have a couple events for BT20 already on there, and we're going to get some more as we get more of them. And also, again, congrats again to, or not congrats, but thank you very much to Scrub Games for all the information. Make sure to go over to their video, hit that like and subscribe button, and I would not be able to make this video without them, so big thank you to them there as well. But that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.